part of you is still afraid of the dark. You might never admit it out loud, but tonight, when you switch off the last light, there's a good chance you'll feel it anyway. That small prickle at the back of your neck, the urge to get into bed a little faster. That feeling something is following you to your room. You'll tell yourself nothing is there, and tonight, you'll be right. But that fear is not childish and it isn't random. It is one of the oldest and truest things about you. For more than 300,000 years, every single one of your ancestors spent roughly half of their life in darkness. And in that darkness, they were not the hunter standing at the top of the food chain. They were prey. This is the story of what came for them after the sun went down. We're going to walk through one night the way they actually lived it, from dusk to dawn. And by the end, those feelings you have are going to make perfect sense. Start at sunset. We like to picture early humans as fearless hunters with spears running down mammoths across the plains, and during the day, sometimes, they were. But the scientists who study this have a much darker phrase for what we mostly were. In 2005, two researchers, Hart and Robert Sussman, gathered decades of evidence into a single uncomfortable idea. For most of our history, we were not man the hunter. We were man the hunted. Looking across many early populations, they estimated that something like 6 to 10% of individuals were being killed by predators. Not dying of old age, being eaten. And that isn't a guess. It's written into the bones. The most famous example is a skull we call the Taung Child. In 1924, an anatomist named Raymond Dart was handed a small fossil skull from a quarry in South Africa. It had belonged to a child, one of our early ancestors, who died nearly 3 million years ago. For decades, everyone assumed the child had simply died. Then, researchers looked closer. There were puncture marks and deep scratches around the eye sockets. When they compared them to modern kills, they matched, almost exactly, to the talons of a large eagle. A bird of prey had seized a human child and carried it off. And here's the thing. That happened in broad daylight. Night was so much worse. Because as the light drains out of the sky, the whole world changes shift. The daytime hunters lie down, and the night shift clocks on. Your problem is simple, and it is total. Your eyes are nearly useless in the dark. A leopard's are not. Neither are a hyena's or a lion's. Every advantage you have in daylight, your tools, your aim, your ability to see a threat coming, switches off the moment the sun does. You are now a slow, a soft, half-blind animal, sitting out in the open. The leopard is the one to fear first. Leopards are ambush hunters, and they hunt at night. They don't charge you from the front. They come from behind or from above in total silence, and they go for the skull. We know exactly what they did to us because of a researcher named C.K. Brain, who spent years cataloging thousands of bones from the caves of South Africa. In one cave, he found the skull of a young hominin with 2 clean, round holes punched into the back of it. He measured the gap between them. Then, he picked up the fossil jaw of a leopard and fitted its 2 lower fangs into those holes. They slid in perfectly. The scene he reconstructed is the stuff of nightmares. A leopard had killed one of our ancestors, dragged the body up into a tree to eat in peace, exactly the way leopards still do today, and the skull had dropped down into the cave below. Those caves we love to imagine as cozy little homes. Many of them were never our shelters at all. They were the predator's pantry, and we were the tins on the shelf. And this is not ancient history that politely stopped. Where leopards and monkeys still share ground today, researchers tracking baboon troops find that leopards remain one of their main killers and that the attacks come overwhelmingly at night. The leopard never forgot the recipe. We just mostly stopped being on the menu. And the leopard had company. In the deep middle of the night came the things that hunt in numbers. Hyenas are not the cowardly scavengers from the cartoons. They are intelligent pack hunters with jaws strong enough to crush bone into powder, and they work the dark in clans. To a small group of sleeping humans, a hyena clan that has caught your scent is a slow, patient death, closing in from several directions at once. Then, there were the giants we don't even have everyday names for anymore. Cave lions, far larger than any lion alive today. And a predator called Dinophelis, a kind of false sabre-toothed cat, roughly the size of a jaguar. Some of the researchers who studied its remains, including C.K. himself, suspected something genuinely chilling about it. That Dinophelis may have been a specialist, a cat that learned over generations that the slow apes were easy meat in the dark and built its entire life around hunting things like us. And if you crept down to the water to drink, the water hunted back. In 2010, scientists studying fossils from Olduvai Gorge in Tanzania described a brand new species of crocodile, one that had lived right alongside our ancestors nearly 2 million years ago. They found its bite marks on hominin leg bones. They named it Crocodilus anthropophagus. It translates simply to the man-eating crocodile. Going to the river at night was a coin flip, and the coin was not in our favor. So how are you here? How did a slow, half-blind, soft animal survive 100,000 nights of this and become the thing reading these words? 2 reasons. The first is fire. The oldest solid evidence we have of humans controlling fire comes from a place called Wonderwork Cave around 1 million years ago, and fire rewrote the maths of the night completely. A campfire throws out a circle of light, maybe 30 feet across. Inside that circle, you can finally see, and almost no predator will cross a wall of flame to step into the light where you're sitting, awake and waiting. Fire was the first lock on the first door that humans ever had. For the first time, our ancestors could lie down on the ground and have a real chance of waking up. The second reason is each other. And this is where it gets strange because the proof has been hiding inside your own sleep this whole time. In a 2017 study, a team of researchers spent 20 days living with the Hadza, one of the last hunter-gatherer peoples on Earth. They fitted 33 of them with motion trackers and watched minute by minute how a group sleeps out in the open. And what they found is one of the most astounding facts in all of science. Across the entire study, more than 200 hours of people sleeping, there were only 18 minutes, total, when every single adult was asleep at the same time. Not by plan, nobody set a watch. It happened because we are built in shifts. The older people, the grandparents, get tired early and wake before dawn. The younger adults stay up late and sleep in. So, at almost any hour of the night, somebody in that group is awake. Somebody's eyes are open, turned toward the dark, while everyone they love sleeps behind them. Researchers call it the sentinel hypothesis. Evolution built a night watch directly into the human family, and it never clocks off. And that one fact is the key that unlocks the whole story, because it explains you. Think about the things we treat as problems. The light sleeper who jolts awake at the smallest sound, the older relative who is up at 5 every morning and simply can't help it. Lying bolt awake at 3 in the morning, heart pounding, certain for no reason at all that something is wrong. We call that insomnia. We medicate it, but it may not be broken at all. It may be the night watch still running inside a body that doesn't know the leopards are gone. Because here is the part that should stay with you. The danger left. The instinct never did. We sleep behind locked doors now, under solid roofs, with light a fingertip away. Nothing is coming, and yet a child still won't let a foot hang over the edge of the bed. A grown adult still feels watched in a dark hallway and walks a little faster to the switch. You still felt that prickle tonight. That is not weakness, and it is not childishness. It is memory. The oldest memory you carry, older than language, written into you before you were ever born. For 300,000 years, your ancestors lay in the dark and listened. Because the dark was full, and it was hungry, and the ones who stopped listening did not live to become anyone's ancestors. You are descended entirely from the ones who stayed afraid. So tonight, when you switch off that last light and feel that flicker at the back of your neck, don't be embarrassed by it. That's just the sentinel, still standing watch at the edge of a fire that burned out 1 million years ago. Still facing the dark. Still waiting for the eyes that, for almost all of human history, were really, truly there.